Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm Tarek Patel.
I'm Randy Rosenblum, and this is SoCal Prep Report. Can you believe the monsoon we're having today in Southern California? The pouring rain, my drive here to Santa Fe Springs. All right, it wasn't that big a deal. We needed a little bit of rain in SoCal. We also need Tarek Fatal to talk about prep sports. Did the rain bother you on the drive?
You know, I did 2 years in the Northeast for school, and that's real weather. So I think it's okay to be out here with a little bit of weather here in Southern California. However, the rain starts to fall, and people don't know how to drive out here. So that does happen.
What doesn't normally happen is Mater Dei losing football games, and it happened last week. And I said, I believe going in, this was a picket game. I thought they were in a tough spot. And they go to Corona Centennial. They play a horrible first half. Give the Huskies all the credit in the world. And you can see Mater Dei, they climb back in it, but then they end up losing down the stretch 42-36.
Look, social media was kind of going nuts. It was 28-0 at one point, and then 28-7, 33-7 at halftime. Everyone's thinking, here we go, Centennials are rolling. But then Mater Dei scores 29 unanswered to take the lead in the third quarter. And then now it's the other side. Uh-oh, how could the Huskies blow this? And they don't. They find a way to get back on track. Credit to Matt Logan and Coach Dominic Catalano. They drive, they score a touchdown, and then there's obviously a game-sealing interception. I know we'll get to that in a second. But what a great high school football game for all of America to enjoy, really.
Really was. Give Catalano, the younger Catalano, credit for engineering the Huskies and scoring that many points against Mater Dei's defense. But on the other side, the Monarchs, they lose 5 fumbles. They really didn't deserve to win the football game. There was the controversy. Is it a catch? Is it an interception? And it became a pick.
Yeah, I think, man, you know, there's so many, these are the rules, and one official comes in, and as you see here, Ryan Hopkins tosses it up. This is on the ensuing possession after the Corona took the lead. So basically the Monarchs are trying to win the game, and look at this, man. Oh, that is close. And I tell you what, we were talking about it before the show. It gets eventually called an interception, and it wins the game for the Huskies of Corona Centennial. However, if it would have been called a first down, you know, Monarchs keep the ball, and I don't know if that would have been too much. It would have been just as controversial, but I don't think anyone would have really scoffed at it. That's a hard decision on Sundays. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, they have replay. There's
even
no
with
replay in high
but I'm
school.
saying even with the replay, that's a tough call to make. You'd have to go into technicality to decipher.
There has to be conclusive evidence.
There you go.
And I don't know. In the old days, it used to be tie goes to the runner in baseball. We're not seeing that all the time anymore. And if they went up with simultaneous catches,
offense gets
the offense gets the football. That's the common thought process there, but who knows? And I'm not arguing with the call. Again, Mater Dei didn't deserve to win the football game. They turned it over too many times. They played a very sloppy first half, and certainly Centennial took advantage and deserved the victory. All right, that's going to, send some reverberations down in not only the polls, but in the beliefs of some of these other schools that they can knock off the Monarchs down the road when it really counts. So let's go to the next game, which is another very prominent game. That's Mission Viejo. They had to go to San Diego to play a terrific Lincoln team. Lincoln led in this game in the second half, but Mission Viejo showed its mettle and pulled it out.
Yeah, this is a Diablos team that's playing some of the best high school football maybe in the country. And to get 2 out-of-section victories in a row and those teams be section powers, right? So Folsom. I kind of always blank on what section they're in. There's so many in the Northern California area, North Coast section or whatever it may be, San Joaquin. I always forget. Point is in their section up north, they are the team to beat. And then San Diego section, it's all about Lincoln. So for the Diablos to get those 2 victories is impressive.
It spoiled your year, though, because had Lincoln won, it would have changed the playoff construction, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think there would have been argument where, to be quick about it, the Southern Section Division I champion always generally gets a bye for that regional bowl game straight into the Open Division Championship. Well, if San Diego Lincoln maybe beats Mission Viejo, runs the table, maybe the Southern Section Division I champion plays the Open Division champion from San Diego before representing the South in the Open Division State Championship. I'll tell you right now, that is now not going to happen.
That is off the table.
Yeah, it's off the table.
Tarek said last week on this program, Sierra Canyon's playing the best football in Southern California, and they were impressive again against Downey. Dominated them.
Yeah, the defense is just unreal. I mean, the defensive end, Richie Wesley, going to Texas, is basically a man-child, and such a nice kid. He's a really fun kid to talk to. For all media members, I would definitely recommend an interview with him. However, you know, Downey is a formidable team, high-octane offense. They were 3-0 coming in, and Sierra Canyon made them look mediocre, which I believe is an indication of how good Sierra Canyon is. Last ad. When we usually see Bosco and Mater Dei early in the season, they're rolling teams. Man, this team's good. Well, Sierra Canyon's doing that right now, and Mater Dei and Bosco aren't. Bosco's playing better than Mater Dei, but the way they're rolling good teams, and I'm talking about Sierra Canyon, makes me feel like maybe that gap is a little closed.
The impressive aspect of the game was Oscar Rios, the brilliant quarterback at Downey, who normally throws for 250, 300, 3-4 touchdowns a game, was shut down. I got the number right here. 3 of 12 for just 32 yards. That is great defense by the Trailblazers. That's the most impressive display by Sierra Canyon in that particular contest. Next game, Olu Gardena Sarah. Now what's striking here is the difference. Sarah started out the year winning 2 games, shutting out people, looking great.
Yep.
Olu just rolled them.
Yeah, and I think not the end of the world for Sarah. Look, Sarah to me is one of those teams where despite how good they might have been, they weren't going to be in Division I anyway. This is a Division II program, so even with a couple losses in a row or maybe one down the line in the Mission League against Sierra Canyon, they'll still be in Division II. So they're in this space of the rankings where there's really not much to grow up, and they're really not going to fall too far down because of the teams they're playing and their strength of schedule. So yeah, not great right now for Sarah, but they play Oaks Christian next, and that team's not doing all so hot. So I think the Cavs will get back on track on Friday.
Boy, that's really going out on a limb. He's right.
Low-hanging fruit, huh?
Low-hanging fruit. All right, no low-hanging fruit here with Servite at Notre Dame out in Sherman Oaks. This is a really good game. Notre Dame led. Servite came charging back. You could see it was 13-0 at one time. And a home loss for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I was at this game on Friday, you know, out in the Valley. I thought, how can I go see a Trinity League team? Okay, and I'll check in on Notre Dame, and here's why. Servite thumped Chaminade. So I thought, if I can go watch Notre Dame and see how they match up, that'll give me an idea, litmus test-wise, of where these teams are. And for Notre Dame, no question, just the score alone tells you, okay, they're better than Chaminade. I mean, this game was competitive. They were up 13-0. They turned over the Friars in the first 2 possessions and then scored on those turnovers. So Notre Dame is a very good team, despite being 2-2.
But they were undermanned. Help is on its way.
That was good.
Mr. Stokes has got the uniform on, a 6'8" behemoth.
Yeah, I gotta say, you know, your boy broke the news on this one. Was out to be able to get out to practice on Monday, but being there on Friday, I was hearing murmurs that Tyron Stokes, the #1 high school basketball player in the country at 6'8", 245 pounds, wants to play football. And so I said, okay, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so, my sources, you know, let me know what Monday looks like. And lo and behold, there he was out in pads and a helmet. So he needs 10 padded practices, which he technically can get with a Saturday practice, and maybe he'll play against Culver City. And if he doesn't, he'll play eventually.
It's great that he wants to play football. I want to play Major League Baseball this week, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, that's
so
a little...
I think it's a little concerning physically. I know he's a great basketball player. You can argue if he's the best player in the country or not, but he's right up there. Now he's taking that chance. I get it. He wants to enjoy high school sports and get an opportunity.
Last stat, I think it is refreshing. NIL, money, he's got an agent. Totally hear you. On this day and age, maybe not worth the risk. Here's what I'll say is pretty refreshing about his response. Why you want to do it? Could be the last chance I get to be a kid. You know what? I really, really like that perspective from a 17-year-old. Come on.
Tyron, I'm older than that, and I'm still a kid. So you can be a kid the rest of your life.
You know what he means.
I know what he means. Damien's pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
Damien's pretty good. They took it to Tustin.
Yeah, they did. Tustin's a talented team, but listen, James Stewart, the coach at Damien, you got to give him his kudos. This team is really, really good. And now you're talking, wait a minute, if they go win the Baseline League, they beat Rancho Cucamonga, they finish 9-1, 10-0, depending on how many teams are in the Division I playoffs, maybe they go Division I, which would be wild, but the Spartans are a very good football team.
The most entertaining football team in the Southland may be Palisades in the city. Again, they put up a huge number against a Southern Section school. And again, just right in Jack Thomas, 6 touchdown passes every week.
Yeah, you know, DeMar DeZern is one of the go-to targets out there, just committed to Oklahoma. So this Palisades team, I'm not exactly surprised. Now, they're not, from the scores I'm seeing, they don't really, it's like defense is optional a little bit. They kind of just go out there and want to outscore you, which is obviously how you win a game. You got to score more points than the other team. But I think you know.
I just learned something.
Oh, man. But I think you get what I'm saying. So they need to shore up the defense a little bit, but this is undoubtedly a open division city section club.
This is as much fun as we've had in a long time on the show.
Maybe for you. It's okay for me.
Having a good time. You would have had a good time at Banning and Garfield. This is really 2 of the better teams in the city section. Banning's 4-0 now. Garfield has the great Cesar Reyes because he plays on both sides of the ball, runner, and he's a linebacker, makes a gazillion tackles. But Banning gets the win.
Yeah, this is one of the more respected rivalries in the city section. 2 heated, not heated is not the word, 2 passionate fan bases within their communities. Anytime Banning and Garfield get together, it's generally a good game. How much better can you get than a 1-point result in the difference? So 21-20.
Kennedy and Granada Hills, they're neighborhood rivals. They played last week, and Kennedy got by Granada Hills. This was a very low-scoring game for a long time. It broke out a little bit more offense in the back half. I expected a higher scoring game, but Kennedy wins it, and the Cougars improved to 3-1.
Yeah, I think this was a tale of 2 styles. Kennedy likes to air it out. Diego Montez, the quarterback, kind of does a little bit of everything, runs, passes, and then Granada, they just, you know, cloud of dust, and like they run like the veer and all these different.
You've obviously been to the Kennedy Field because it is literally a cloud of dust.
Yeah, you know, Granada Hills just kind of attacks you with the run, and that's it. So the passing game wins the day.
Let's check out Tarek's CIF Southern Section top football teams. There's 10 good ones here. Number 1 again, St. John Bosco. What strikes me, 2 things really. Mater Dei going to number 5.
Right.
You really think they're only the 5th best team? Maybe they are.
Right.
And Sierra Canyon, who you on this show last week championed as the squad that was playing the best football in SoCal. You have them ranked 6th.
So look, when you're making rankings, you have to. There's 2 things you have to do. You have to ask, what have you done for me lately? And so when you look at results and who's beaten who in high school football, that matters, right? So if I'm looking at this, and this is a very nice look here. Shout out to our producers, you know, Larry Zavala here for
more importantly, he's keeping track of the weather
on camera too with the rankings.
He's keeping track of the weather.
Leave this up for a
time.
second. Point is Mission Viejo beat Santa Margarita. Santa Margarita beat Corona Centennial. Corona Centennial beat Mater Dei.
Stop with the comparing scores.
You have to. In high school football, that's how you have to do it.
Okay.
You can't. I cannot justify putting Sierra Canyon above those teams when they haven't played any of those teams, or even a common opponent, that for that matter. So that's the way it has to lay out. They all do it. That's just how it goes. Bosco's the only one that gets the nod, not having played. To be fair, because your question's good. St. John Bosco hasn't played any of those teams. So they're like, okay, so why are they number 1? Well, they were number 2 the whole year, and they have quality wins over out of state.
St. Francis
there you go. So boom, they're almost not even part of the equation because they're kind of separated by being that number 1 team. So that's my justification. You can disagree with it all you want. That's fine, but then you'd be wrong.
I like Tarek a lot, and he has a gazillion jobs, but we disagree on a lot.
No, that's fine. Disagreeing's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to be. Steve Fryer once told me he's been doing it for 40 years. Hey man, as long as you can defend it. And
he's been disagreeing for 40 years?
No, I'm saying he's been doing high school sports coverage for 40. And he just says, look, you write something, you do rankings, as long as you can defend it. And I can. Doesn't mean you have to agree with me.
Okay, let's try to defend our top performances this week. Do you think there's any defense needed for some of these great outings? Let's start with Ethan Mund.
Yeesh.
He's running back at Troy High School, 329 yards, 6 touchdowns, and a victory over Foothill. Jaden Jefferson, really good quarterback at Cathedral. You can see the numbers there. Over 400,
they
5
lost
touchdowns.
to Simi Valley? Is that accurate? I'm not even.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't lie about that.
No, that's crazy. See, Kissimmee Valley is not good this year, so that tells me that Cathedral's really struggling.
Taylor Lee's here every week. He just in 350, 400.
Just leave his name there and just change the details.
Yeah, we don't have to keep him in there for next week. Moving on with some of these top performances, and there's a couple more we have. Seth Solario, the quarterback at San Pedro, Bell's struggling, so it's not surprising that San Pedro and Solario had a big game, but congratulations. 5 touchdown passes for a team that runs is pretty cool. But the one in the middle there, and we talk about Dezern every week, we had a great game with the 3 picks and the one going back for a score, is Jaden Walk-Green, the DB from Centennial. Not because they beat Mater Dei and the 2 interceptions and the 1 touchdown. He also kicked 2 field goals in the game.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the beauties of high school sports is there's so many great athletes that can do so many things to impact the game on Friday night. So there's some examples there.
You didn't know about the 2 field goals?
I didn't know about the 2 field goals. Yeah. And good baseball player, right? Center fielder type guy.
You know what time
Did you know that? No, I'm kidding.
No, I didn't. Do you know what time it is? It's time for a point counterpoint. And we know that the playoffs in the CIF Southern section are down the road. I get that. But are we in a position where we're going to have some parity come playoff time? So, Tarek, is there parity in D1 in the Southern section?
Yes, the answer is yes. And I think I'm speaking for all of the high school sports community when I pray that we hope there is parity. So my answer is going to be a little more subjective, less about facts and more about feelings. Look, Centennial beating Mater Dei shows maybe that an immortal is bleeding. Maybe they are mortal. St. John Bosco, Mater Dei, are they up in the echelon of high school football that is so high that no one can touch them? That's been the case for the last 10 years. Only one other team has been in the Division I championship in those 10 years, not named Mater Dei or Bosco, and it was Servite in 2021. So is it possible that in 3 or 4 weeks here, we could see another team get to the Division I final, and that means knocking off one or both of these power programs? I think and pray that the answer is yes.
You talk about a prisoner of the moment.
Yeah, I am.
There is a prime example of it. There is no parity in the Southern section. Forget one football game out in Corona. I know that it was a great game. Mater Dei was in a weird situation. Mater Dei is going to probably get beat again this week. We'll talk about that when they go to Gorman in Las Vegas. But there's no parity. It's Bosco and Mater Dei. It always has been, and it is right now, and it probably will be in the near future. They're the best 2 teams. This is a preseason game that really doesn't mean a whole lot. Mater Dei still can win the national title. If they win at Gorman this week, and again, I don't think they will, and then knock off Bosco a couple times and win the state, Mater Dei's right in the discussion to win the national title. So really the game didn't have a whole lot of meaning, except it was a great high school football game. There is no parity. There's no crying in baseball. There's no parity in the CIF Southern section, especially in D1.
And you have no heart.
Hey, I'm a bad guy. I mean, I admit that I'm a bad guy.
Just calloused from all the winning that Mater Dei's been doing.
Mean-spirited, you might say. All right, let's get a little serious here for a moment.
You might be right. Go ahead.
I could be right. That's why we have the discussion. Let's get an update on 2 fronts here. Bishop Montgomery. I know there's always traffic in that regard. And then Milliken, Long Beach Milliken now has some issues as well.
Update on Bishop Montgomery. I reported today that the principal actually sent out an email telling freshman families and a couple other families that were already there before the transfer debacle that they can apply for hardship, a transfer hardship with the CIF, which basically allows them to transfer with no penalty. And what's funny about the email is it says in there, like, quote, Commissioner West will approve this transfer, end quote. And I'm just thinking, man, that's kind of a lot to promise. And so I asked the CIF for comment, and they said no comment. So I do think it's quite interesting, but it's out there now. We'll see how that goes. Listen, under the bylaws, if a discontinued program is in effect, generally the hardship will get approved. Right. So we'll see what happens. But
what about Milliken?
Yeah, Milliken is another one where now we're seeing the CIF crack down more on transfer paperwork. I can't go into too much detail, but it's obvious they have some type of technology that allows them to sort through addresses, account numbers, whatever, and flag any discrepancies or differences between paperwork already filed with a student athlete, so on and so forth. Point is they're finding stuff, maybe not even current, but, oh, this is your second transfer? What's interesting is we found some inconsistencies in your transfer when you were a freshman or a sophomore, and now you're going to get penalized for it. So Milliken got hit with bylaw 202, falsifying info, and I think 8 players got deemed ineligible.
Here's a quick note. We got to discuss a little baseball here in a moment as well. Jordan Davidson, former Mater Dei running back playing for the Oregon Ducks, had a good game last week, 40 yards. Also a Duck from St. John Bosco. We got Bosco and Mater Dei. Peyton Woodyard.
Oh, yeah.
He had a nice
Woodyard,
game, too. 13 tackles in the win over Northwestern. Just a shout-out to a couple of alumni from both Mater Dei and St. John Bosco. I do want to talk about this baseball note. There's now a baseball blackout period for high school kids provided by Major League Baseball. They will not apply scouts
Interesting.
to see kids play. They want a blackout period so they don't hurt their arms. Now, kids can go out and perform on their own, but they won't have scouts or schools or any of that being looked at. And that goes from October 15th all the way to Jan 15th, a 3-month period. They want to preserve the arms of the kids.
Yeah, I think the effort is well intended, right? For the MLB to send the ripples down through the grassroots and make sure that these kids are limiting how much they're throwing. And I think thinking about their futures in mind, I think it's a valiant effort. Does it necessarily mean it'll stop? No. Could it help? Yes.
Key games in the Southland. Prep football, the first key game's not in the Southland, it's in Las Vegas. So if you want to take a nice trip, it's Mater Dei at Bishop Gorman. Gorman is the favorite here.
Yes, they are, and I think they're going to win. I think Mater Dei is going to lose twice for the first time, I think, since 2014, the last time they lost twice in a row. So Mater Dei's got some questions to answer, and we're going to see that first quarter is going to be very interesting in Vegas. I do think the Gales win the game.
I agree with you there, but it's interesting. Will we see the Mater Dei team that couldn't do anything right, or will we see that team that was in the third quarter that played like a number one team in the country? But I agree. I think Gorman's too tough. All right, next game, St. John Bosco playing another heavyweight, arguably the best team in Hawaii right now, St. Louis.
Yeah, I think they are the best team in Hawaii. They beat Kahuku, the defending champions out there, and they beat them pretty handily. I think 20-0 along those lines. So St. Louis is the team to beat in Hawaii.
Corona Centennial has to get the cobwebs going here a little bit, clear it out, because they had that big emotional victory over Mater Dei. Now they get a team that might be the best 1-3 team around.
Yeah, Rancho Cucamonga certainly started off the best 0-2 team maybe in the country, and then they got a win, and then I think they lost to Chaparral most recently, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that one, but point is they've shown a little bit more susceptible to a loss, and I think that's because their quarterback, Jacob Chambers, is a little banged up.
I got to tell you, we're doing the show now live at noon 30, 12:30. You know that if you're watching it at this moment. But then we replay the show at 9 o'clock tonight, which we used to do live at that slot. So I'm giving away a little trade secret. I have to do it because Tarek's going to the next game. I guess it was possible because he has so many jobs, he could be at 2 places at once. But Sierra Canyon and Olu, you'll be at Orange Coast College tonight.
Yeah, I think this is the best game locally of the week, and that's because we're going to see, this is Sierra Canyon's toughest opponent. Orange Lutheran is very good. Went toe-to-toe with Basha, the Arizona State champion, a couple weeks ago and lost by a touchdown. So I think for Sierra Canyon, people that think they could be the challenger of the Mater Dei and the Boscos of the world, they're going to have to show it with a convincing victory over Orange Lutheran. And what's funny is if Orange Lutheran beats Sierra Canyon, it's not like Orange Lutheran becomes a challenger. Unfortunately, it just deflates whatever energy Sierra Canyon had. So it's kind of odd how it's working right now.
Who's going to win? You're going to be there.
Oh, I think Sierra Canyon's going to win. I think Sierra Canyon is the favorite though on the road. The question is, by how much?
Well, how much? Give it to us. You're the expert. You have 6, 7 jobs. You got to be able to figure it out.
I think if they're anywhere between if they win anywhere between 14 and 21 points, like a 17-point, 18-point win, that would be very, very. Anything more than that would be a huge statement. But if they could win by 2 or more touchdowns, I think that would be very convincing.
So if they win 30-20, that won't satisfy you? You'll be disappointed with the Trailblazers?
No, I wouldn't be disappointed, but it may not appear they are the juggernaut that it'll just make them look, oh, okay, they're as good as Orange Lutheran. And we know Orange Lutheran ain't beaten Mater Dei and Bosco. That would be the notion. Doesn't mean it's true, but that'll be the takeaway from it.
I don't know if that's,
I'm rooting for it to be more.
I don't know if that's true. I think they might have a chance down the road.
I think so too. I'm just trying to.
I mean, give
Olu
some credit here.
If Sierra Canyon wins handily, it will add more luster and fun to the opportunity that they could maybe beat Mater Dei or Bosco.
I want to give you luster. I want to give you fun. I want to give you Beaumont and Vista Murrieta. Candidly, I don't know a whole lot about these two teams, but I do know they're both 3-0.
Jeremiah Doohoo is the quarterback at Beaumont, and he can do it with his arm and his legs. Dual threat monster out at Beaumont. The Cougars are rolling.
Here's an intriguing one. Banning and Palos Verdes. It's a crossover game. Yeah. You got the great quarterback Ryan Rakowski out at PV, and Banning had the wonderful win last week over Garfield.
I think Palos Verdes is going to win, and I don't think it'll be close.
I think Palos Verdes will win, but I do think it'll be fairly close. I don't think Banning is a physical football
No, they
team.
are, but Palos Verdes has played some really good teams that Banning has not.
Okay. I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
How about Palisades at El Camino Real? The Royals are ready.
Yeah, the charter, the battle of the charters. I think ECR is turning a corner with Rick Hayashida back at the helm, and that's fun. Their best player is a running back who's a freshman, which is kind of cool. So they've got a nice tandem of seniors that are listening and trying to help the Royals be a little better under Hayashida. But they'd never seen speed and athleticism like Palisades, so Palisades is going to win the game.
But you just said it earlier on the program, Pally can't stop anyone. It makes it an interesting game.
Yeah, I think they have enough to get off the field a few times. ECR is going to score maybe 3 touchdowns. Palisades will score like 6.
Final game we want to look at is Santa Paula at Narbonne. Now, this is an interesting game. Santa Paula's 2-1. Narbonne's 0-4. It'll be live at 7 o'clock on our air here tomorrow night. Narbonne's got better athletes, but they're banged up. Don't have their normal quarterback in. He's out injured, so they're going to have to use another quarterback. Santa Paula is a disciplined, lower division team. They play like D11. They've won 7 games the last 3 years. It'll be exciting to call it. I'll be joined by Chuck Price on the call tomorrow night. But I think this is a very interesting and what could be very close football game.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think what's going to happen is you're going to see Santa Paula with a lot of stout, fundamental type game, discipline, to your point, and you're going to see Narbonne, like they always have, athletes. You're going to see some more athletes, but maybe not so disciplined. A touchdown called back because there was holding. I think you'll see a thinner sideline, so not a lot of depth. You might see a Narbonne team that's got 35 kids, and Santa Paula might show up with 50. And I say 35 and you shook your head, so maybe it's like 25 kids.
It's 26 the last I checked, and that's before injuries.
Yeah, so, look, and Narbonne, let's not forget, they've somewhat, I wouldn't say fallen on hard times, but given the fallout of Bishop Montgomery, part of that was what happened at Narbonne. Their championship got vacated. Everyone's moved on from there, the coach, the players, the families, even the guy that was supporting the whole thing, Brett Stay, which we now know, so.
And Brett's been instrumental in helping games get back on TV, showing contrition, and we appreciate what Brett has done, and he wants to get some games on television. He's helped us through his sponsorships. He has a nice pizza place and a tire place, Lee's Tire. So thank you, Brett, for stepping up to the plate on some of these high school games. I do think it's an interesting game. And I think it's good that these kids get an opportunity to be on television.
Yeah, anytime these kids are on television, that becomes more special. So not only can they watch it on TV live, but I'm sure there's other avenues of it like YouTube or on LA36.org.
That is true. Good point. Doug Bledsoe, by the way, the former North Hollywood coach, my old stomping ground, is the head coach at Narbonne. Good guy, will get the program steadied up, and I think they'll be good down the road. Obviously, Narbonne's got a long way to go.
Yeah, they do.
And he knows that, so I think he believes he can get it turned around.
Well, clearly he's got a heart for young people and a heart to rebuild and rebuild it in his vision. So they'll do it the right way. They ain't going to go down that path anymore. The Gauchos, they'll be back.
You're always back, so you'll be back with us next week.
Correct.
Trying to fit us in your schedule with your different jobs.
Maybe.
And we appreciate that. The Fatal Factor is doing really well.
Monday night, 8 o'clock.
I know that.
Oh,
Monday at 8, the Fatal Factor, but more importantly, we'll be back maybe not more importantly, but we'll also be back next week right here, noon 30 on the Thursday, and at 9 o'clock, you can watch us on SoCal.
Ooh, we got a rainstorm coming in.
The monsoon continues in Southern California. Drive carefully, everybody. For Tarek, I'm ready. We'll see you next time.
I was trying to do this to the camera.
I don't know
We
that
need to
I'm
bring
gonna
this
get
back.
home.
Did you ever do that before? Back in your